Welcome to the second module of Fundamentals of Machine Learning. Now, we will be starting the Python programming from now onwards so that it would be easier for us to program and create some algorithms using implementation of machine learning and all. So why basically we're using Python is because it's easy to implement, and we will be programming Python codes using Google Collaboratory. So now let's look at why exactly is Python important for artificial intelligence and machine learning employment. So Python is very simple and it's consistent. So it's very easy to learn Python, and it's really very consistent for machine learning algorithms. And it has extensive applications and installations of libraries and frameworks. For example, NumPy, Pandas, Keras, and other types of libraries are already installed in Python. So it's becomes easier for us to program uh, for machine learning algorithms. Now it has a platform independence, that is, when you create a machine learning model in a computer, then you can easily use that particular model in the other computer when you create such models using Python. So it provides a great platform independence. Number four thing is that it has great community and popularity. And now talking about Python, it's really very popular programming language, and the community of the programmers and the machine learning engineers, specialists, and the developers is just huge. So Python is really very beneficial for creating the machine learning algorithms. Now, what are the other types of programming languages used for machine learning? Now, they're basically R, and they're basically Java, and you have MATLAB, and there are options too for using for employment of machine learning algorithms. So you can use them, but I recommend Python for doing the machine learning programming. Now, why we are using Google Colab? Why not others? Now, other options are you can use the IDLE. You can use the uh, Visual Studio Code. You can use PyCharm, and you can use the various other platforms for programming in Python. So it's basically that why we are using Google Colab is that it is hosted by Google. Now you only require Google account, and you don't need to install any software for this. You can directly go onto the browser, you can type the code, and you can just get the output, and you can get the required number of works. And Google Colab has one more advantage, that it has already a lot more libraries installed related to data science, so it becomes easier for us to program in it. And basically you can work directly on a browser, and it provides GPU, TPU support as well, CPU, GPU, and TPU support as well, which is really very great for us. So that's why we will be using Google Colab for Python programming. So now let's jump on to Google Colab for our Python programming. So we have come to our browser, so you need to open a browser and then search for the Google Colab. So there you have the research.google.com, collab.research.google.com, the first website. So it will open the Google Collaboratory. Now once you have opened this, you will get an interface like this, and then you need to type for the new notebook for your new workspace. So once you have opened this, you will get a sort of interface like this one, right? So you get an interface like this. So once you see this kind of interface, it seems very user friendly, right? So the first thing you need to do is you need to connect to your server. So once you connect to the server, it will allocate, and then it will connect to the server, and it will provide you the required number of RAM and disk space for you to work. There you see the code and text part. So text is basically for adding comments, and code is for uh, programming, for coding, right? So there you see you have been connected to this, and you can see there that it is connected to Python 3 Google Compute Engine backend. Now you have been provided a RAM of 12.69 GB and a disk of 107.72 GB. So that is such a huge advantage of using the Google Colab. Now let's start with some of the really fundamental and basic coding in Python, so that you will understand how do we code in Python. So you have firstly need to add text. So let's start with the arithmetic operation. So to add text, you need to type hash like this, so that it becomes you can type the comment there. So let's learn firstly arithmetic operation. Arithmetic metric operation, right? So once you have done this, let's just zoom it so that you can properly see the screen. All right, so once you type this, you can add text. you have added text as arithmetic operation is a topic, right? So let's just start coding now. So let's say a equal to 5, b equal to 6. So how do we add these two numbers? We need to assign a third variable and add these two variables, and then you need to print. Print what? Print c, which is the output, right? So what we have done is we have assigned a variable a equal to 5, which has a value of 5. We have assigned second variable which has a value 6, and then there is a third variable which will add the first two variables and it will print the result. So there you see there is a output as 11, which is correct, right? 5 plus 6 is 11. So that is how you perform addition. Now let's just keep another simplicity of values, a equal to 15 and let's say b equal to 5. And now when we need to multiply this, we assign a variable and we would keep the multiply sign, and let's just run this, so that you get 15 into 5 is 75, right? So this is how you multiply. Now what if you divide this? So you will get, I guess, 3, right? Yeah, 3.0. So yeah, that is how you perform some basic arithmetic operations in Python. So it's really easy, right? When you work in C++, any other, you need to type your int and it becomes kind of, bigger and complex program. But Python is really very simple to use. You just need to assign the variables and print. Now let's learn the another condition, which is the if conditions. If condition, let's add hash here so that the text would look bigger. Now let's begin our code. So let's learn how if condition works. So let's say a equal to 10 and let's say b equal to 20. Now if a is less than b, then print a is less than b, right? So you can print here a is less than b. So what it does is that we have assigned a variable, two variables, a is equal to 10, b equal to 20. Now if what it does, it compares the two values and gives the output. So a is less than b, so it must give an output that a is less than b, right? So it's you need to be conscious about this space is given. So once you have done this, you need to actually put this space in print, right? So you need to put a space on print, and then you won't get such indentation error. It's called an indentation error. What was that? If that you don't keep a space here, then it will give an indentation error and intended block, right? So you need to add space in print so you don't get an indentation error. So that is what you need to be conscious about. So now let's look at if else condition. So let's say a equal to 10, let's just keep the previous values, b equal to 20. Now if a is less than b, then print what? A is less than b. A is less than b, right? A is less than b. Else what? Else print a is not less than b. So we have seen that a is equal to 10 and b equal to 20. So obviously a is less than b, so it must give an output that a is less than b. So there you get a is less than b, right? So this is how you use the if else condition in Python. So what you need to do is you need to assign two variables, compare it using if condition and then else condition, and it would provide the required suitable output. Now let's learn about the if else if condition. If else if condition. Now let's just add the hash here. So now let's move on to the program. Now let's say a is equal to 20, b is even 20, and let's keep a third variable, let's say 5. Now you need to test these. So if a is less than b, then what? Print a is less than b. Else if, So else if is given by, you can write this as elif. It's not else if, it's elif, elif. Else if a is, so when you have to give the equal to sign, then you need to do double times, a equal to b, right? So you need to do equal to sign double times. So you can write this as print a as a is equal to b, a is equal to b. Else print what, a is not less than b, a is not less than b, right? So what you can expect the output is that you have just assigned three variables. So a is equal to 20 and b equal to 20, so we have compared a and b, so it must give an output as a is equal to b. So let's see what is the output. Yeah, there you see a is equal to b, so we have the correct output. Now let's look at the loop conditions in the loop. How does loop works? So loop, right? So let's use first while loop. So there you go with the while loop, and then you add the code. Now let's first initialize a value as 0. This is called as initialization of value, right? Let me write there, initialization of a variable. It's not variable value, it's variable, right? So this is initialization of a variable. Now while is a condition, while I is less than 5, I is less than 5, while I is less than 5, print I. So how much? I equal to I plus equal to 1, which means the value of I gets incremented by 1. So let's run this. So you get the 0 1 2 3 4, right? So what we have done in this loop is that while I is less than 5 and I plus equal to 1, this means what is that each time the value of I is incremented by 1. So this is how you use a while loop. So what if you need to get even 5? Then you need to write as I is, this is strictly less than 5, right? So you need to write I is less than or equal to 5. So now you do this and you get even 5, right? So for up to 9, you get all the values from 0 to 9. So this is how you use while loop. Now let's look at the for loop. So let's look at the for loop and add the code here. So for using the for loop, what you can do is that for I, okay, this for I in the range, right? So range is providing the ranges 0 comma 10, print I. So what range does is that it provides you with the ranges starting from the initial value to the end value, but it does not include the end value, right? So what you will get is that, okay, so for I in the range 0 to 10, so we have forgot to add here this. So now you get there, you get 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 10 9. So ranging from 0 to 10, there are 0 to 9 values, right? So that is what you get. Now let's say you need to increase these values, by, let's say 2. Then what you will do, you need to write, let's say 0 comma 11 comma 2. So it will give you value by increasing amount of 2, increment by 2. Let's look at this. All right, so you see there 0 2 4 6 8 10, so it is incrementing by 2. But what if you need to decrease these values? Then you can write this as, you need to firstly assign the bigger value, 11 comma 0 comma minus 2. Now let's run this. Then you can see here it will print 11 9 7 5 3 1. So this is what for loops works. This is how the for loop work. You can what if you provide it 3, so it will decrease the value by 3. You can see the 11 8 5 2, so it has a decrement in value by 3. So that is some of the basic programming syntaxes and some of the basic programming concepts in Python. and we will be using the other types of concepts and other type of programming concepts in our upcoming video lectures. Thank you for joining.